Hey everyone, it is Jason. Today I am going to start going over, this is the first of many videos for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventure Systems IDW Miniatures game. I got the full Kickstarter pack today, so I'm going to go through each set as they go along. I will make sure that the Kickstarter stuff is in separate videos and you know which ones are Kickstarter, so you know what you can actually buy. This is the first of two base games. It follows the story from the IDW series. So if you read those comic books, you can buy one game, follow the next game, so on and so forth. If you don't, there will be spoilers throughout these videos. Just things like cards showing and things I've said. This is the first, couple of issues or so it won't get too bad, but the later sets will start to spoil things. So I definitely point out the game is designed by Daniel Lansdowne and Pete Walsh, and the systems by Kevin Wilson. Had not 100% direct interaction with myself, but throughout the entire campaign, as well as on the Facebook page afterwards, had a lot of interaction with Pete Walsh and Daniel Lansdowne later on. So to answer questions, talk to fans about Turtle stuff. It's just the Turtles Facebook page, Kickstarter, all that was super exciting. The only other Kickstarter I've had that's been that exciting has been the Power Rangers. You see the fandom come through. So that's really awesome to see. We're just going to look at the box here before I start cracking this open. So we got Raphael there. Why did I say it like that? Raphael. You're just showing off the game. Artwork is great. There's a bunch of the miniatures. There's one of the Leonardos. We, of course, got Michelangelo on the top. The game says it's for 1 to 5 players. That's because you get all 4 turtles plus Casey Jones to play as. And then if you buy the other sets, you can mix and match. If you got Kickstarter, you'll have even more things to mix and match. I think the general game is 1 to 4. Or by 5 players, because they have, this is one of the awesome features of this game, is it is a 1 versus 4, so one person playing as the role of all of the bad guys, and they'll have a special deck they can play through, play cards like, ooh, I'm going to have Shredder do this, or I'm going to have the Foots do that, or Baxter do this. This one would be Baxter, Stockman, or Hobb. Or the Mousers, or Foot Soldiers, or sorry, not Foot Soldiers, Purple Dragons. Foot Soldiers are the other box. Then other people all play as the Turtles, so there's your 5. So you have 4 people playing heroes, and that's people you can swap in and out. Or they have a full co-op, which is what I loved about this. So everyone can play together. All the villains are controlled by an AI. They still have some special cards that they might use here and there, if I remember right. But what's neat is it comes up with like, oh, now it's Leo's turn. Oh, now it's this person's turn. So that makes it more interactive. So we're going to crack this open here. Set my camera. One other thing that's really awesome about this game, besides the fact there's all these expansions and all that, is they're coming out with a Batman version, which is using the adventure system, camera doesn't want to stay put. These are the adventure system. So, not even in theory, but confirmed, and they've played games with them before, the prototypes of the Batman one, is that you can mix and match these. So, they have the current comic books and the movie out of Batman Ninja Turtles. You can relive that. Alright. So to start off here, get it so I have the least amount of glare as possible. The Change Is Constant Adventure Comics Part 1. We have Part 2. And I believe this is just the straight up rulebook. So here in the bottom you're going to have Pigeon Pete, who's one of the characters, who's also basically Pete Walsh, who helped work on the game. Sorry, darkness. Just going through, just explaining how the game is played. I'm not going to sit here and go through a ton of the rules and stuff right now. Kind of maybe go over some of it while we look, but actually some pretty intricate, detailed stuff, talking like all the stuff that's mentioning all the different things. They're showing the tray layout, card layout, different cards, ally cards, competitive villain cards, card abilities, initiative cards, cooperative villain cards, how the board's laid out, and this is why I like it, showing how the board is actually laid out. Most games don't do this. I love that, because that's always one thing that's sometimes hard to try and figure out, well, where am I supposed to be putting things? So they have it listed for competitive mode, how the competitive mode plays, what the different icons mean, how movement, all of this stuff works. I mean, it seems pretty intense, but I think once you start playing it, you'll follow it. And then here's how you play cooperative mode. And all of those rules. Here's how terrain works. Because this is a game where you get to move around your miniatures, and you get line of sight, and you can be on top of this or throw that. You have melee attacks, ranged attacks. There's tiny characters, have special effects, spawning minions, wounds, large characters. So much different stuff to go through. And then a hint for the upcoming expansion, Mutant Animals. One thing I do want to point out real quick, if I can find it, is one of the neat concepts I think it was for combat. So each player gets 3 dice, and they roll their dice, and it's going to tell them what type of things they can do during their turn, like multiple ranged attacks, melee attack, defense, skateboard for movement, defense and attack. So they're all going to have like double melee attack, double movement. So they have various things. But then what's awesome about this is you take the other players and you share your outside 2 dice. So, for example, if this red one's Raphael, he shares his double shurikens with Michelangelo here, and he shares his defense with Donatello down here. And then, same thing, Donatello shares 1 ranged and 2 movement. So it's really cool because you can be like, you can sit here and be like, oh, like, Mikey has 2 movement, but Donatello, or Leonardo down here has no movement. So you can share a movement down here, so now Leonardo has some movement. Vice versa, like, oh, he needs some range, or he needs defense. So it's a really cool way to do a co-op game, because you roll your dice to figure out, beginning of like the turn, what everyone's going to be capable of doing, but then you can also help each other right away. So that's definitely a cool co-op feature. And that's even if you're playing the 4-player co-op, or if you're playing 4 versus 1. That's how that works. Alright. Almost 10 minutes into this video. Let's get into some more content. So here's the adventure comics, showing all the different things, how they work. So, this is basically like scenarios. So it's going to go through, explain, have a little story. Here's some pictures from the comics, like, ooh, we're beating up some thugs. And here's how you set up this battle. So you can play through, like, randomly pick one and do them. Or you can go through and... I grabbed part 2. I'm going to grab part 1. You can go through and play like through a story mode. So here we go. Introduction. So what's neat about it is when you're playing through this story, is there's wins and losses. Tutorial campaign. So let's kind of look at that so we're not spoiling too much stuff. Let's have different objectives. So, like, heroes have a skill modifier of -1. Villains both is 3. Some different rules here. Who you recommend, what villains do. Objectives. Heroes win if Ilopex receives a tail token. The villains win at the end of round 6. So there's a time limit. And then here's what's actually kind of cool, though. Is if the heroes win, they get to do this, and then you go here. If the villains win, they get to do this. And that affects, like, if you're playing through the campaign, what happens in the next thing. And here it shows how to set it up, telling you what characters to use, what decks they have, red, blues, and greens, how many figures you use, where they go at the beginning of the game. Yeah, it sets it all up for you, so that's really cool. And then we go, like, battle number 2. And then it has all the other different stuff, like objectives, and then what happens if the heroes win or lose. I'm just going to kind of flip through some of the different ones. I don't want to spoil too much in here. I've seen the Baxter Stockman one here. This is kind of neat. You start in one room in here, and what's actually kind of neat the way this works is you're on this board. I've seen this one played. As soon as you break down these doors, these guys start activating. So your objective is to kill Baxter Stockman. So you have a couple different ways you can go about it. You could just try and rush in, charge him, take him out as quickly as possible, or you could clean out this room, then proceed to the next room. But also keep in mind that the longer it takes you to clean out this room, their victory condition might get closer, or you might take more damage. So that's just kind of an interesting way to look at it. You got some different options to do. So there we go. And then this one, we were into part 2. And I noticed something that was interesting. So this is crossover campaign requires both Change Is Constant and City Fall to play. So these are crossover ones. So basically you can play through all of book 1 by itself. And then if you get the City Fall expansion, now you can play through part 2. And there's probably stuff like that the same for City Fall. It probably has some that you get just if you get City Fall, and then some if you get the other one. Alright, now let's start looking at some of the cool stuff. Here are all our miniatures in this cool thing. All the little mousers, all the turtles. It's awesome that they have their own tray, because then you don't really have to find something separate to do with them all. See if we can get a in focus. It's probably trying to catch those. My camera sucks. Alright, so we have Leonardo. Apologize for the focus not being the best, but yeah, there's a Leonardo. He's got his 2 swords, 2 sword holders. Donatello. Angry shell, kind of cool, like his bandana's up in the air. Michelangelo, our party dude. On a skateboard. Trying to find all these. There's Raphael doing a primal scream. We have Casey Jones. His big giant bag full of sports equipment. I think that was it for the heroes. Here's some of the villains. So we have Alopex, which is very possible I'm pronouncing that wrong. Hob, or Old Hob. Got Evil Genius Baxter Stockman, holding some kind of chemicals. Alright, the giant Mega Mouser takes up multiple spaces on the board. If I can get one out, we'll switch it out. Baby Mouser. I call them Mousers. I've heard other people say Mousers, which doesn't make sense to me. Alright, well, we're not looking at a Mouser yet, because I can't get one out. Ugh, there we go. Little teeny tiny Mouser. So, the Mega Mouser, size comparison, to Donatello. Donatello takes up 1 space on the board. Mega Mouser takes up 3. Contrast. Ooh. The small Mouser has 1 little eye. I love that feature. He takes up 1/3 of a spot. So you can put 3 of these little tiny guys on 1 tile. So it makes them harder to kill or get around. Alright, then we have a Foot Ninja. We have a Thug Brawler. Just regular boxer guy. And a Thug Gunner. That's a terrible way to shoot. So that is all of the different types. As you can see, there's still a bunch more Mousers and a bunch more of each of the other minions. Ooh. My camera stand doesn't want to work. Alright, up next in the box, all the different tiles, or some of them. Start off, we have some pizzas, because what would a Turtles game be without pizzas? So these are your health tokens. So there's part health tokens, there's full health tokens. And on the back you have some for bad guys. These are bad pizzas. They have gross fish bones and worms and stuff. So with the Kickstarter I got some big actual like rotating one, so I can actually keep track of numbers instead of having to put multiple tokens, but this is still neat. Here we have some KO tokens, so that way you know someone's been KO'd. I'm assuming you put KO tokens down, that way in case someone can get revived, you just take the KO token off, rather than like discarding the card sometimes, especially probably bosses. These are chi counters, I believe is what they were called. That way you can keep track of certain like special focus attacks. And then there's a back of the KO token. Shows Raphael knocking a guy out with a sai. Some of the other tokens we have looks like Leo's Stealth. I don't remember what all of these do. There's a different one. Here are your different counters. One for just different colored dice and stuff. These are so when you share your dice with your teammates, you can just give them a counter, and that way you don't have to try and sit there and remember which die is which. Spawn counters. and some black blocks terrain and tiles. There's some red spawns, probably to show if they're active or inactive. I don't remember what all the different terrains are, but that's awesome. Mystery symbols. We got some trash cans, trash bins. Different colored borders dictate how heavy they are, or line of sight and things. Some open doors. Some of these are like one side, it's a closed dumpster, open doors. Here we get closed doors, open dumpsters, open pits. So that's kind of cool. There's some X's. You get like both sides, that way you can show if something's been opened or gone through. Some security cameras, some computers, fire, explosion tokens, sewer tiles, clouds of smoke. Some signs that people have to go over. So some closed road signs, Dunkin' Donuts, TCRI, steam pipe, like a mutagen vial, hot dog carts, benches. These probably don't change too much on the back. These signs do though. So now we have a Rupert's Pizzeria and second time around antiques. And we have some storage containers, guy that's in jail, some cars, some more cars, some planks. Oh, I popped one out already. It's doing so well, and I'm about to pop out another one. Alright. What else do we got here? We have some cool key things. Legends. So this is going over cooperative mode. Just explaining what figures and leaders do. Like, minions get 2 actions, leaders get 3 actions. Machine, Tiny, what Giant does. How to do some of the different things. How the targeting works. Round summaries, hero's roll, arrange action dice, shuffle the initiative dice, proceed to battle, draw the top card, figure activates, repeat steps. So that's what I like about this co-op too, is because it's in the versus mode, it's hero play, so like Donatello goes, then bad guys, then Raphael goes, then bad guys, then Leonardo goes, then bad guys. In the co-op, because you use an initiative deck, you draw a card. So you could get lucky, you could have Donatello, then Raphael goes, then, a foot soldier goes, and then Leonardo goes. So you could end up with all your guys going right away, and you start with a good advantage. It could go the other direction, though, too, and it could be like, foot soldier, shredder, then you guys go. But then you're all going right in a row, too. So it's kind of more of a, instead of back and forth, it's you don't know who's gonna go in what order. So I kind of thought that was cool. Here's how competitive modes. You're just explaining some of the different icons and what they do and how that round summary goes. So I gave you 2 of those. Probably can split one up on either side of the thing. This is even neat. You can put your deck there, discard pile, active zone 1 and 2. And then here you just have your initiative deck. So you kind of leave that central in the table. And then they got 2 of these icon and guides. So general terms and icons, what cover, climb, crouch, leap, grind, throw small objects all mean and cost. Your static tokens, cover, crouch, stun, and KO. Different icons from your character cards, your action dice. Special moves, how they work. Battle dice icons for attacking, heroes, bunch of things, and then all your terrain colors, which is awesome. I love this big giant sheet. You don't have to pull out the rule book every time. So you have slow terrain, rough terrain, covered terrain, elevated, blocking, unstable, obscuring, grindable lines, blocking lines, obscure lines, slow lines, climbable, fire escapes, and doors. Alright, what we have next is we have some of the tiles. I was trying to figure out why they wouldn't come apart. So I'm going to finish going through the tiles, and then I will stop this video. It's getting pretty long, and then we'll come back for part 2 where we go through all the cards and the dice and all that stuff. Yeah, so here's how big one of the boards are. There's like inside of a sewer. And then just by comparison, if we put some of the guys on there. So he's going to take up a bunch of room. The thugs and the ninjas take up 1 space each. My camera doesn't want to focus, sorry. And we got City Street, some subway tunnels, inside the sewer, another inside the sewer, parking lot. So if you follow the scenarios, there's a bunch of different stuff. Here's just a big open office area. There's an outside, but you can also like make your own scenarios. You can mix and match stuff. You can play versus combat. You got plenty of different tiles to do stuff with. Railroad tracks. And again, it's a big, giant, like, open area. I believe it's supposed to be sunk down. I believe that's what the blue line stands for. Elevated terrain. Oh, so maybe it goes up. There's another office building and another terrain. Alright, so that's it for part 1 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Change Is Constant miniatures game. Check back for part 2 where I will be going through the various cards, card decks, bad guys, good guys, and character cards. And we'll look over them some. So catch you guys on the next video. Bye.